Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. I'm your host, Paul Sanneman. I'm the founder of Contractor Staffing Source, where we help companies build great teams. I have Nick Capobianco. I hope I didn't mess that up, Nick.
Pretty
And
good.
he's the founder of Roofr, which is software for roofing companies and some other service companies. So can you explain, Nick, what Roofr does?
Yeah, so I'm Nick Capobianco. I'm not the founder, but I was the first hire. So I was here since the
Well, that's
beginning.
close enough. You
Close
know, what the
enough.
heck?
Yeah. But I just don't want the CEO, who is also my cousin. He'll
I
he'll come at
see.
me. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, I got it.
But,
Okay, that's good. Okay. The first
but
hire guy. Okay, we're good
yeah,
with
the
that.
first
Okay.
hire there. So Roofr is an all-in-one sales platform. So we are a CRM that can help out roofers really scale and streamline their business. So in the industry right now for roofing, there's a lot of great CRMs out there, but you have to add in a bunch of single point solutions to tie it all together. Measurement software, proposal software, et cetera, et cetera. Roofr is the first and only all-in-one platform that truly has everything that you need. So we have built a CRM that's more streamlined. It's one subscription to rule them all and can take you from lead acquisition to lead management to measurements, proposals, material orders, invoices, and payments all in one tool.
Okay. So walk me through the process. How does it measure the roof? That always amazes me. How can you
Yeah.
tell me how that all works?
So we actually have two ways. So our flagship product is our measurements. So to give you a quick background, when we first started out, we were a marketplace. This is around 2016, 2017. We opened it up and we had this instant estimator that would capture leads from customers that are looking for roofing, and we would connect them with local roofers in their area. But one thing we found out that was difficult at that time was speed to lead. And that's a big thing in the roofing industry. In most businesses, you want to get it out there fast.
Right.
And so when we polled our roofers, we're like, hey, what's taking so long to get these quotes up? Because we're losing jobs because of it. They said, I have to go out and measure the roof. So we created our own measurement software. And to answer your question, we would take in aerial imagery from our imagery partners, and we created a software that can do an accurate takeoff of every facet, every pitch, every line item, and provide you with a premium report in less than 3 hours. And you can get that back. You have all of your line measurements for your hips, ridges, rakes, eaves, et cetera, your facet and square footage count, and we get it from there. So we use satellite imagery. Now, what we also have is two other things: a DIY tool
So
where you can
you
draw it
can
out
get a
yourself.
roof from a satellite.
Yes, yeah. So there's aerial imagery and there's satellite imagery, and then there's also like drones and stuff like that too, which we also do. But aerial imagery is done by low flyby by planes. So it's high def cameras tied onto low flybys, and you get really high def images. And in most of our areas, we have images from every 4 months. So you're getting really up to date photos where you can see damage in some spots, tarps in others, and you can get that. And those are our high quality HD imagery. Satellite imagery is taken from satellites. Some of it is clear, some of it is a little bit more blurry. So you can draw those out yourself in our system for $0. We do not charge you a penny if you want to draw out satellite images, or for that matter, drone images in our system.
So explain to me what is it, just major markets? Where can I get a measured roof? Is it any place in the country, or there's specific markets?
Pretty close. So for us, we're North America wide, technically worldwide if you want to upload your own imagery, but we are North America wide, and we cover around 86% of the population in North America. Sorry, to be more specific, Canada and US. So
Okay.
if you're in a city, yeah, we got you. If you're in a small town, we probably got you. If you're in the boonies, like where I grew up, boonies is might be a Canadian
Okay.
term, but like
Now,
out in the
what if I'm in
sticks.
Hawaii? Like I'm in Hilo, Hawaii. Is there any shot that you have that?
You know what? For satellite imagery, we do have some great imagery out there. For aerial imagery, there's not a lot. So we
Okay.
don't actually have a lot of our customers out in Hawaii. We do have some that like using their drones and uploading it in our system and drawing it out for free,
Okay.
and turning them into proposals, material orders, and stuff. But for the most part, the aerial imagery is kind of the continental
So
US and Canada.
what does it cost someone to get the measurements of the roof?
Yeah, great question. So we are one of the most economical and fast-moving companies in the space. So typically you would see these measurements cost anywhere from like 30 to 80 bucks per roof. Ours is $12 flat. No matter how big, no matter how
Whoa.
small, you can get them back for 12 bucks. Our DIY is even more economical, where you can draw it out yourself from $0 to $3.50 per report. Every report is premium. Reports on the subscription come with your logo, waste calculations, material orders, and they're always going to have super detailed measurements on there.
So why wouldn't a roofer, I mean, it seems like every roofer in the country would use this stuff because it's crazy to do it with your own drones or with your own people, right? To go up on the roof and actually measure roof. So what percentage of, and just off the top of your head, what percentage of roofers in this country use that technology?
Ooh, there's like a bunch of different measurement tools out there. I would say a good amount of people are using it. Like if we're looking at like a rough numbers, I would say 60 to 70% of roofers out there are using some sort of measurement tool. We have just passed 10,000 monthly active users on our system.
Mm-hmm.
So really a lot, as you can see here. But there's still something to be said about inspection by yourself and hand measuring and stuff like that. As accurate as aerial images are, from our last stat point that we pulled was 98.6% accurate on average with our measurements. So super accurate. Nothing's going to beat hand, like measuring tape and everything else. So some people are old school. My dad uses us, and with his company, he's been in business for 30 years. Uses us, but he still goes out and inspects the job to see stuff like the substrate, to see how that's holding up, to see if there's any extra layers, anything else that we're missing, and then to confirm measurements, which we always recommend. No matter what measurement software you are using, you should always go and confirm the measurements, because ultimately we're taking them from a flying by plane. You want to make sure that everything's lined in.
So run me through lead to invoice. I mean, so the lead comes in from whatever, your website or phone call or something, right?
Yes.
So, and hopefully you respond in real time these days, right? You don't like call back a week later.
You'd be surprised on how many people still do that. That's
I know,
what we're trying to
we do
break.
the same thing in recruiting. If you don't respond in real time, you're in trouble. The same thing in roofing. I'm sure if you call back 3 days later, forget it. So the call comes in, and then sort of walk me through the process of how that works.
Yeah, there's a couple ways with us and how you can do that intake. You can do manual intake from a call coming in or from like a lead there, but we have a really fantastic tool called the Instant Estimator. And that was actually the first tool that we released back in 2016. And that was what helped us get the imagery. And then we moved over to providing the rest of our software. And the Instant Estimator is really cool because it can give a customer an accurate ballpark quote within 30 seconds or less on their roof. So we use machine learning, artificial intelligence, and government data to capture and give a rough square footage of the roof within seconds. From there, they answer a couple questions and then automatically get a quote from that roofer with the roofer's pricing for good, better, best, or whatever they want to input within seconds. That lead would go directly into our CRM that you get with us and have all the click-through data on there. So that leads to the next spot where you're going to call back quickly. Our tool with our performance dashboard will show you your speed to lead calculations on there, because ultimately the stats out there show you are 7 times more likely to close a job if you contact them within the first hour of their inquiry. The faster you do it, the better, because if you think about roofing, it's not a sexy purchase. People are not like thinking it way ahead and be like, I gotta get my roof done in a couple years, then let me do it. It does happen. But on average, people calling you about their roof are calling you because something happened. It's urgent. So if you can match their urgency with your urgency and calling them back while giving them an upfront price, an accurate ballpark price right off the bat, you're separating yourself from the competition. And from there, you can do the regular intake, go through, get a measurement, get a proposal.
So as a customer, I'm going down Google and going, ring, dial, right?
Yeah.
I get to ABC Roofing, and okay, ABC Roofing. I need my roof replaced. I think I need to replace. What's it going to cost me? And you're going to say, I'll do the calculations and get back to you in 30 minutes or whatever, right?
Even better, actually. So think about this. Today's world, people are window shopping online. Like Amazon has screwed us all up in that aspect. We don't want to talk to someone. We want to get an idea of what something's going to cost, especially if we don't know about it. So if you're looking at getting a car, I can go onto Ford's website, say I want a Ford F-150. This is the engine block I want, the interior, and it'll give me a ballpark price. I still have
Right.
to talk to a sales representative, but there's nothing like that for roofing. So that's why we created it. So if you are Mrs. Jones and I see a leak in my ceiling and I need to call roofers, so I search online roofers near me. I go to the website to double check. Imagine the first CTA that pops up says, "Hey, get a quote in 30 seconds." You click on that button, you have a gamified process that asks you some questions, walks you through it, shows the zoom in onto the house, the square footage and everything. And when you click accept, it shows all the pricing for your roof square footage for the materials that that roofer offers. You could put that on Facebook, Instagram, door hangers, business cards with QR codes, all that stuff. And it allows the customer to get a quote without talking to anybody. So it allows
So
them to
I
window
guess what
shop.
they say today, and it's 70% of buying decisions are made before you talk to somebody. Think that's true?
Correct. Yes, it very much so nowadays. And this allows you to put your best foot forward without even talking to them. And if you tie that with speed to lead, like you mentioned before, you are going to separate yourself from the competition. Roofing is a very saturated landscape and a lot of competition out there. So you need to separate yourself from the competition. And what better way of doing that with tying tech with speed to lead?
Okay, so I immediately say it's going to cost me, pick a number, $18,000 to remember for 25,
Mhm.
whatever the number is, right? And then once I get that number, somebody's going to call me back and say, "Thank you for inquiring. You probably know your roof's going to cost $18,000. We'd like to send a sales representative out to talk to you," or something. What happens next?
Yeah, so ideally in that process, they'll get ranges on each option. You could turn on solid pricing or ranging in our system. I recommend ranges because it gives you some more room to wiggle. But you would call them back and go, "Hey, Mrs. Jones," and you have all the click through, so you can actually attack that stuff right off the bat. Like I said, match urgency with urgency. I see you have some leaking in your son's room. You're looking to go back with asphalt. You looked like you were interested in repair and metal as well. Not a problem. Let me send Cam out there. He wants to do a full inspection just to make sure that there's nothing else that we're missing. We do not like having change orders or surprise costs. So we're just going to do a quick inspection. How's tomorrow or today at noon? We'll get somebody out there. So you can dispatch that person at that point,
So if
assign
she
the lead
says
to them.
fine today at noon, then what's this? Does the software dispatch the guy? What happens next?
Doesn't dispatch, but you do have the ability to tie that with a DM directly into our system. Let Cam know that you got an appointment at that time. Assign the lead over to them, and they have a built-in SOP tasks that are set up for you. So in the back end, we can set up tasks that are automated per stage in your CRM, so that when you move it to appointment completed, a new list of tasks come out. So when that roofer goes out there, or the sales representative goes out there on their phone, they have the tasks on what to do to make sure everything is done properly. The inspection happens, measurement happens, and then we go
Now,
from
can he
there.
actually get a quote and sign it up with your software on the spot?
Yeah, so you can measure it on the spot or order the measurement on your way there. Most likely will be there by the time you're there. And then when you have that, with one button, you can click and it will take all those measurements and auto-populate it into a presentation style proposal. Something that's educational, informative, transparent to help the customer understand the process. Because like I said before, roofing's not a sexy purchase. It's not a kitchen that they could brag about to their friends.
Right,
It's just on your roof. You don't look at it until there's a problem. But
right.
the thing is, a roof is protecting your most valuable asset, which is your home. So it's super important. So you want to be able to educate them on the importance of it, what my company does, what separates us, and here are the products that we're using. So on the spot, Cam, the gentleman who was a sales representative, can create that proposal with one click. Everything will auto-populate in there. You could turn your iPad around or send it to them and walk them through everything as you go along to really break it down and even collect the signature and the deposit on the spot if that was the case that they were ready to move forward.
Now, can you offer financing in real time?
Yeah, you can. So we have a direct integration and we'll have more direct integrations with other financing companies, partners coming up soon. But right now we have an integration with our good friends at GoodLeap. So they can, in the proposal, show you the rough monthly payment, and they can apply directly from that proposal, get a soft pull of their credit, so it's not going to ding them on anything, and get pre-approved on the spot, and then sign that quote and get everything moving right off the bat.
So in real time, they can get the estimate, do saying sign here, they can sign, and they're done. And then you
Yeah.
schedule the, and you're good.
And what's great about that is that you can really have that conversation, and the whole job about sales, especially for something with a big ticket item like a roof, you're looking at 5 figures right off the bat, is to remove roadblocks and objections. And when you can start off with saying, hey, it's $20,000, that's going to hurt. But if you start off and say, hey, Mrs. Jones, this is going to be around like $120 a month. If you want to use your money, we can do it here, and it's going to be $20,000, and here's our payment installments. But if you use one of our accredited finance partners, they're great friends over there, you can get this for $130 a month, month over month with this percent APR, and we can get you set up right now. And it changes that flow and allows you to increase your closing percentage.
The closing ratio goes way up. So this brings something that I think is happening in the industry. Maybe the listeners would be interested in this. I think AI is going to hugely affect the construction industry, but it's doing it in a different way. What's happening is AI is disrupting a lot of other industries that it can replace. Attorneys, doctors, where people are selling information for money. AI is, and a document, instead of attorney charging you, pick a number, $5,000 is going to be, $50 on your phone. That's going to change it. Roofing, it can't go put on a roof, not for the foreseeable future, right?
There's already robots out there. It's pretty crazy.
It will take a while. Really, it'll take a while. So what I see happening is that there's all this capital, hundreds of millions of dollars looking for a place to go, right? So what it's doing is it's going into the industries that AI is not disrupting, and roofing is one of those. And I bring that up because I have a client, he had like 10 million bucks he wanted to do something with, right? And I said, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to start a roofing company in Nebraska. And I went, why? He goes, well, look at it. In roofing in Nebraska, the old guard is going out of business. They don't know what the hell they're doing. The young guys don't have any cash to do it right. I don't know anything about roofing, but I know about business. And I can come into Nebraska and I can put money in that thing, market it right, do the right systems, have all right tech, recruit the right people. I can own that industry in 5 years, and the margins are killer. And that didn't happen before. You know what I mean?
What's interesting with COVID, actually, and to everything you're talking about there, COVID saw a huge recession come in because of it. And people started to recognize, especially the people with money, that something that I've been saying since I was a kid. I've been roofing since I was 12 years old. My dad's been in the business for 30 years. So I've been in this. It is one of the few businesses and industries out there that is recession proof. Because if the recession is happening and you got a hole in your roof, guess what? You can't wait. You have to get it done. So it's a recession proof business. So because of that, construction tech has really taken off. And in the last 7 years or so, 8 years, 10 years, there's been a huge influx from venture capitalist companies to invest in good tech, such as ourselves, that is helping the industry.
I had a guy, he had 280 customers. He was doing some tech for, construction. He just got funded for 20 million bucks.
It's crazy.
Right? It's crazy. Like, dude, you got 280 customers, you got $20 million because all this capital is looking for a place to go.
And on that point too, like even on the other side of things, on the actual roofing side. So let's talk about your friend that's starting the company in Nebraska. First of all, genius, because it's a storm market. There's a lot of restoration. So there's a lot of ways to go up there and build it up. And it's a booming state. But the other thing is now the VCs already paid attention to construction tech. Guess who's paying attention to roofing companies now? PE firms. And now they're trying to consolidate and build up all these things. So they're buying out companies.
What I see happening, where there used to be 50 roofers in a town, there's going to be 4. And they're going to be owned by big companies. So either you're going to get bought out or put out of business. It sounds bad, but it's sort of like that. And in a way, I call it like the Walmart syndrome. So what Walmart did for retail, right? Because the guys in town didn't know how to recruit, they couldn't find any people, didn't know how to market, just didn't have basic business skills. They go build a Walmart, 5 miles out of town and do it better, faster, and cheaper than downtown and suck all the business out of town because they had a better business model. And I see that happening in construction. I've been in this industry for 40 years. I've never seen that happen before. And I think AI's like brought that on.
Yeah, it's everything has kind of pivoted, like you said, because everything was going into there. They need to find another place for it. And I do agree that there's a lot of consolidation happening and it will continue to happen. But like Walmart, I think there's still going to be a big market for small to medium-sized businesses to get in there. And unlike Walmart, where Walmart will just drop the prices to kick you out, when you consolidate in the construction space, your prices have to kind of reflect what you're consolidating. So there will still
Right.
be room for those small to medium-sized businesses. But what's beautiful about that too is that now there's also an exit strategy where there wasn't one before.
Right.
So you could sell
Not
your
only
company.
that, there's tech like you available to them, which didn't
Hmm.
used to be there. I mean,
Yeah.
like I can do recruiting for a fraction of it because I use a lot of AI and offshore labor. I can do it for a fraction. You, because you're tech, you can measure roofs and all that kind of stuff, which used to cost, thousands of dollars. Now it's cost $12.
Hmm.
So if you get on the tech bandwagon, you can be competitive as a roofer. But if you don't, I think you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're gonna get left behind, and unfortunately, that's the way of doing it. And I always say I have a cheesy line when I'm talking to roofers, and they're like, "Well, I've been doing it like this for X amount of years." So it's like, no, what you're doing got you where you are, so you shouldn't change that process. All I'm saying is you got a tire here with wood spokes. I'm not trying to reinvent that wheel. I'm just trying to take those wood spokes and bring them into steel spokes so we could update your process. Because
Right.
then you take what you had that got you here and multiply it into a situation like this where you can add tech in, you're going to be able to scale and grow.
Right. And what I mean, I've done contractors, I've been in this 40 years. I mean, when I started, they had pagers, right?
Hmm.
And I drug them through web-based software and all this kind of stuff. And now it's AI. I mean, dude,
Hmm.
come on. It's just changing everything. And so you're a perfect example of how tech has made things way better, faster, and cheaper than you could possibly do before. And I think if roofers don't adopt that tech, they're going to lose because people are using Google to buy stuff, whether you like it or not. And if you lose that battle and you don't get the lead, you're sort of done. You no longer can depend on doing a great job at answering the phone. It's not going
Hmm.
to work.
Referrals only go so far, especially with the new generation coming in and buying a home. So the average first home buyer in North America is 36 years old. It's no longer those 20-year-olds. So you're getting a savvy millennial who has grown up and changed with tech, along with
Mhm.
those people are looking to stay affordable and be
Right,
quick and not have to have these in-person meetings. And if you do not adapt with that, you're going to look like the dinosaur. I'll use my parents as an example. They've been around for 30 years and been one of the top companies year after year, always getting the awards and stuff in their community. And they always got referrals nonstop. They never had to advertise. They were just like working 12 months a year, booked multiple months out consistently for many, many years. And recently, post COVID, we're finding that like the referrals are still there and they're still busy, but the amount that they're busy is changed. And what did we have to do? We had to adapt. Well, my parents had to adapt and start doing more social media marketing, posting videos, posting reviews and stuff like that. Because you need to have social proof now. You don't just need to
right,
have good tech and good service, but you need to be social proof to show that yeah, I've been around for 30 years, but this is also what I'm doing. I'm adapting with the times, I'm listening to your needs, and I'm attacking them in these advertisement ways. And
right.
that's bringing in the business again. And it's all about that analogy with the wheel with the wood spokes and turning it into steel. You can keep your process, but you need to update the interior
Right.
and how it runs. And ultimately, it will allow you to run more lean, lower overhead, higher profitability. And if you are looking for that exit, that EBITDA is going to be higher because of that, your profitability, and you'll be
Absolutely.
able
I
to get a
mean,
better return.
right. So I think it's the good news if you adapt. It's not the good news if you don't.
Correct.
So I would say anybody listening to this podcast, if you own a roofing company and your tech isn't the best out there, you're probably going to be in trouble. Nick, how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can go to roofr.com. That's roofer with out the E. So going back to that tech world. So ROOFR.com. You could go there. You could sign up for free. Your first measurements for free and stuff. Or you can email me directly. It's nic@roofr.com. So nic@roofr.com.
Cool. Well, thanks, Nick. I really appreciate you being here.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.